I want to watch TV. I want to listen to the radio. I want to go watch a movie. When you say stuff like this, you sound like a boomer. I want to go on Zynga. I want to go on MySpace. I want to check my stats on Meerkat. Now you sound like a member of today's generation. Because let's face it, in this day and age, the only cool place to see content is social media. And here on the How to Be Cool podcast, we want to help you be cool and stay away from this dated garbage like films and books and get more time in on Zynga. With me here is my co-host, Nick Nanny, and we're going to be discussing whether or not social media is cool on the How to Be Cool podcast. Nick, thoughts?
Tony, I'm looking for the dislike button because that rant was it was terrible. Social media is not cool, okay? There's no rhyme or reason as to who can be cool when. It's absolute madness. It's insanity. Why does a young hot girl have millions of followers while my cousin who just posts pictures of his car and Leonard Skinner have less than 100 followers? Can you explain that to me?
Well, can you explain this to me? Where these people would be if not for social media? Logan Paul, Lele Pons, Jake Paul. Let's be honest. If not for social media, these genius entertainers would be stuck living with their wealthy parents in their McMansions instead of entertaining the world. If we didn't have social media, we would not have the joy that Jake Paul brings me every hour of every day when I check my Jake Paul alerts on my phone. I love social media, and it's the home of the greatest creators in the history of, I was going to say entertainment, I'm going to go bigger, the universe.
Tony, where's the dislike? Oh, wait, I did that one already. Why? Okay. Whatever happened to the real social media? Life itself. Hard to believe, I know, but there was a time before cell phones. I know it's hard for us as Generation Alpha to remember, but there was a time before cell phones when people would hang out at real places like the dumpster behind Burger King, meeting all sorts of colorful characters, eating free foods, and maybe, hey, making out with a woman with henna tattoos. In my book, that beats Facebook any day.
Let me see. Do I want my hangout options to be limited to whoever's hanging around a dumpster or my family? Or do I want to have the chance to hang out with anyone from a teenage girl in Japan all the way to another teenage girl in another part of Japan? Without social media, let's be honest, I'd be forced to hang around my dumb kids. And that stinks. So what do you think about that?
What if we were living in a world where everybody is paid in likes and you only know you're moving up in the world if you're tagged? Hey, you're tagged in this photo, which means you belong. And whatever happened to tag your it? Remember that when we were kids? That was a bad thing. Tag your it, you're the other. And now it's what we aspire to? To quote the show Black Mirror, that sounds like something out of Black Mirror.
Well, speaking of mirrors, I'm looking at someone over here, which is what you do in a mirror. It's Matt Barats, our special guest today. Matt, what do you think? Is it cool to go on social media?
I think social media is very cool. Yeah.
See, he told you.
And I agree. I don't know how I'm moving up in the world unless I'm tagged in a photo.
One of the most important things in anyone's career is getting tagged. Do you know what I mean? How do you think today's big stars got their start? They didn't get their start going down to Times Square to audition for the Rockettes, okay? They got tagged by, what am I thinking of? Anna Kendrick in a picture. And everyone goes, who's this? Who's this? Who's Anna Kendrick talking about? I'll tell you who. Jackie Chan. And that's how he got his start. And now he's one of the biggest stars in the world.
Jackie Chan.
Yeah, he's huge, as a matter of fact. And that brings me around to something that never would have happened without social media. Jackie Chan getting tagged in this picture. I don't know if you've seen this, Matt.
No.
But if you want to just come around here, I'm going
Okay,
to show
great.
you. Thanks to social, somebody posted this. Look at this.
My fans are so creative. This is what I would look like as a cookie. Yum.
Someone posted him looking like a cookie. This would not have happened before social media. And I know because before social media, I actually broke into Jackie Chan's house to show him a picture I drew of him as a cookie. I had to wait in his bathroom for 7 hours till he came in. But by the time he was in and out, it wasn't for like a sort of shower or anything extended. I don't know what he was doing. I guess just a number one, as we call it. So we didn't really have time to look at my picture. And then I got arrested. Thanks to social media, I can send stuff like this to him all the time. Matt,
but maybe
you
you took a wrong approach. I feel like, what if you mailed him cookies that looked like him? This is you're showing him a drawing that's still not real life. You have to. I mean, you broke into his house, which I applaud you for that. But why aren't you force feeding him cookies that you made that look like him?
Forcing Jackie Chan to do something. Oh, yeah, that would be easy. If he didn't know freaking Kung Fu. Matt, when do you remember first sort of experiencing social media? Did you feel excited about it, or were you kind of disturbed? What was your take the first time you saw social media, if you can remember? Because I'm a Gen Alpha, so I've had it my whole life. I'm basically what they call an iPad kid. Like, I literally
me too. I grew up.
Came out of the womb, and I was on Instagram Live. I was born on IG Live. So for me, I don't know what it's like, what it was like before social media. But do you remember kind of when you first got on it?
Yeah, well, this was before smartphones. Remember the Nokia came out and they had the soft covers?
I don't remember it because I'm Gen Alpha, but I
think I read about it on Wikipedia.
Okay. Well,
anyway.
Well, I was on a site called MySpace.
Yeah.
I was actually one of the first 3,000 people on MySpace.
Wow.
Because a girl that I had a crush on was a little more plugged into me and made a profile for me.
Sure.
And so, what a space to meet friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, MySpace.
MySpace. And it was the space for me.
Yeah, finally, your space. Because before that, space... that just meant the moon, places you couldn't access, but in MySpace.
Yeah.
It's your own space.
Because I grew up on a farm, so it was, do I want to,
how do you
bale hay, or do I want to go into this exciting digital sphere of goth girls and top eights?
And you know what they had on MySpace is they had the scene look. Do you remember this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was cool?
Yeah.
Did you have the look? Did you look like that? Remember?
I didn't look like that, but I ran with a lot of people that
they had that.
Well, the girl that made my account was definitely a scene look person.
Well,
Nick, you don't remember this, but this is
before hipsters.
Yeah, I read about this. I read about this, and look at this.
Wow.
I'll put a picture of this up because I know
podcast
saying look at this, and some people are just listening.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like what happened? You're talking about this farm and you're mentioning these bales of hay, and that's where you got me lighting up because there's so many things you can do with hay, and there's like a woman on your computer that is interesting, but what if you use that hay to make a woman? That's
like a straw man.
A straw, yeah. Or a straw.
A scarecrow.
Yeah, or a suicide girl. You could make with the hair, and then you get no talk back at all. You just get
right.
Yeah,
and that is the problem with these scene girls.
Yeah,
the talk back.
The talk back. Yeah.
And also, I just want to say, if there are people, a suicide girl is not referred to the sort of taking your own life. This was a slang term I read about where it was a style of having a lot of tension.
Unalive person of female gender.
And they weren't going to die. They were going to live.
They were going to live through
live life.
Yeah,
live
life
to
the fullest with cool hair.
Yeah.
With cool hair.
So you remember getting on MySpace. Now remember at some point MySpace suddenly became uncool, and this because a cool social for the first time social media actually became cool with something called Foursquare.
Yeah.
And this was combined what Nick likes, which is going and hanging out at Burger King, with
the dumpster behind Burger King.
Dumpster behind Burger King, which what I like, which is posting on my phone, because with Foursquare, well, you want to explain how you would use
Sure. So you can with Foursquare, it's location based, and you're a social media expert. I don't really have to explain this to you, but just for our audience. It's location based, and you post that you're at different locations, and Like, say that I'm at the dumpster behind Burger King, and if you go there enough, you're considered the mayor of that location.
But this is the thing. This is my issue that for older generations, being called the mayor of a dumpster area, that was in real life was prestigious. But now that social media is around, it's actually worth more in clout. You heard about this clout?
Yeah.
That means important.
It's like stuffing in a coat.
No, clout is it's something about social media. You want more of it.
Okay.
And nowadays you want to be the online mayor of the dumpster. It's worth more than just going there to hang out. You don't even have to go there. You could just check in, or even better, visit a dumpster in the metaverse. Well, let's just move forward through time because I'm kind of thinking about this. So do you remember getting on Facebook?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
We had Pokes. We had the Wall. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You could post a status update.
Oh,
It
yeah.
would be like,
Right.
I would say Matt is, and then you go like, thinking about getting nachos. You know what I mean?
That's right.
What was done.
And isn't it fun that Instagram's sort of doing that now with your little, it prompts you with a little away, it's like, what's your vibe?
Yes, and Instagram.
Sorry, not to skip ahead.
Point. No. Well, that brings us to the next.
It's all related.
The next thing that came out, I think, after Facebook, and we're kind of doing the timeline, was Instagram. And
Right.
I think that changed the game because with Facebook, the problem was you had to think about what you were going to say. It was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And then with Instagram, you could put a picture up, and I guess
Instead
you could put
instead of describing the dumpster,
You could
post
show
photos.
how you feel,
Show
how
it.
the dumpster makes you feel.
Yeah.
in the visual medium of Instagram,
And those frames.
yes, and then frames.
No, just in early Instagram, you
yeah.
have little frames and borders around your...
Right.
'cause it was
and filters.
And filters.
And filters.
Because you know why? Because it was supposed to look like you took a picture with an antiquated camera.
Right.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Something that your great grandfather spent their whole savings on
Yeah.
to take a photo of everyone scowling.
Now you could do it with a phone that only costs $1,000. So yeah, it's not that much better. But here's the thing: Instagram, I think, was the first place. Oh, we forgot about one. We forgot about the greatest social media of all time.
Twitter.
But even bigger, Vine. Now,
That's right.
this is the thing, and this is what I was getting to earlier with my discussion of Logan Paul and all these guys, Jake Paul, Logan Paul, is that Vine was the first social media where the quality of the entertainment finally surpassed what we would call legacy media, because Vine, it was comedy, sketch comedy. And see, for guys like us involved in comedy, this was a godsend. Because
guys on the go, too.
Yeah.
We only had 6 seconds.
6 seconds, yeah.
I'm busy, guys, but there was no pressure, let's make Solaris. You know what I mean? Before
Sure.
that, if you wanted to make something, you had to make Solaris. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about? You're into films. Solaris. It's
Yeah.
like- this movie is probably 40 minutes long. With Vine, you got 6 seconds, you get your point across, and we all remember some of the great Vines. Can we all say our favorite Vine that we remembered? I'll start. The backflip, though. Remember that? That was one of the most popular Vines of all time. Here's the thing, though. A lot of people for Vine are still celebrities today.
Sure.
Like Jake Paul, Logan Paul,
What was that woman's
Lele
name?
Pons.
Stacy Nightmare?
Stacy Nightmare. I don't... we got to get Stacy Nightmare on the podcast.
We really
Stacy
should.
Nightmare was was a local comedian in New York who dressed up as with lobster claws and said sort of gross out humor.
Yeah.
And she had kind of been doing this for...
I think she's on SNL now,
Now
right?
she's on SNL.
Yeah.
But she'd been doing this character for, I think, like 10 plus years, kind of at open mics. And when Vine came out, she rocketed. She had 100,000 Vine followers.
Yeah.
For the character with the lobster claws. And now, like I said, every movie starring and directed by Stacy Nightmare.
Well, and this is great for, those of us in comedy that, things like that just really show that really the funniest people really do rise to the top.
That's true,
through
yeah.
something like Vine,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know?
And that's why, for example, sort of the comedian's comedian. I used to talk about her all the time, and I think she's moved on to, I don't know, philanthropic work. Now Lele Pons. And let me just show, we'll do this. I'll save this later because we do some video. Is it time to just go right into video reactions?
I suppose we could.
Usually we'd save that for later when we've kind of run out of things to talk about. But
Well, you should show this.
oh yes,
We should talk about this.
Right.
This
We
post.
kind of skipped over Twitter. We were saying, which was kind of a mix of pictures and stuff, and it was a great place for celebrities to kind of participate in the fun. And for example,
Yeah.
you, I'm sure, know the great football star Jerry Rice.
Of course.
And I don't know if Matt, if you want to just take a look at this, is one of the things he tweeted. If you want to maybe just read it.
Cash me outside. Hashtag how about da. Just joking. Have you guys seen the video? So this is, referring to the Cash Me Outside girl.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is probably from 15 years. When did this happen? This Cash Me Outside
I would say
phenomenon?
probably 2016, 2017.
Yeah, something like that.
Really?
Yeah. But Cash Me Outside girl, she really hit her peak when a photo was posted with her and David Spade. And that happened. And
Let's look this up.
that happened in real life, my friends.
And there's this before she goes by Bad Baby now.
Yeah, she goes by Bad Baby now, but
But Baby, I know how to spell.
yeah, and then put David Spade.
And again, all this is up on Google if you need to look it up. So we're looking this up now.
And when was this photo?
He got burned while feuding. I'm just gonna read this.
But this is like, this
Oh my
is
God.
as for us in
7 years
in
ago.
comedy, this is the peak of what we're trying to, and David Spade posted this photo. This is what we're trying to attain here.
Wow, look at this. He made a joke. Okay, this is actually something I'd love to get your opinion on, Matt. And this is what's called the trolling phenomenon on social media. Matt met her, and then Matt.
David.
I wish.
Yeah, I know.
Matt met
yeah.
her, I don't know if he'd be here.
So David Spade met Cash Me Outside, Bad Baby. And then he goes, unfortunately, she stopped being famous 5 minutes before the picture was taken. So he's
That's
known
some
for
of that
roast-
classic David
Yeah.
Spade humor for you.
And then unfortunately, she burned Spade with her comeback, which has been removed from Instagram. So we don't know what it was.
We don't know. We'll get a tech
Well,
crew
let's
on
sort of,
doing
look
a
at-
deep
let's see
dive.
what-
Well,
she
I'm sure
said.
they were like,
So-
listen, this guy, David Spade, he's untouchable.
Guess what she goes, actually, I thought this guy was the waiter. So it's kind of ironic. And this is the thing, David Spade spent 30 years in the comedy clubs honing his bit. Cash Me Outside, goes on Dr. Phil, curses out her mom.
Yeah,
Right.
what was she on there for?
She was rude. There was a big
She was
period.
rude.
She was rude, I think, to her mom. It was one of these things. And before social media, I read there used to be these things called daytime talk shows where they would always have teenagers come on and curse out their moms. And that's how she got famous.
Okay.
And it's so sad. I mean, I know I was arguing that we are in a better time now with social media, but now I'm kind of getting sad. There was so much great content during the golden age of basic cable. The 90s and 2000s,
Yeah.
where you could go on TV between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. and they would have teenagers cursing at
Right.
their parents, or sometimes they would be racist.
But she made a career out of it. She has a line of outdoor ATMs now.
Yes, I mean she's incredibly rich due to her singing rap songs. But no, okay. So what we were saying is, but social media basically has created a new type of great celebrity, and for those of us working in comedy, it's finally turned it into a meritocracy. Do you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
You don't have to be one of these people with tons of time to work on stuff. You just have to be kind of good looking. Do you know what I mean? And that's the merit of being good looking, instead of having the privilege, the born privilege of having a lot of time to work on something. And now we're kind of in an era, Vine went down, everyone was really disappointed.
I'm scared.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Where
Yeah.
are we
Right.
going?
Oh, our accounts could go away at any moment.
They could mine our data.
Yeah.
And then TikTok came out.
I've never been on TikTok, but I know what Reels are.
Okay, Reels.
Oh, sure. Well,
And YouTube Shorts.
this now we're talking about, stuff we know.
Yeah.
Like, as a comedian, I'm sure we all have our reels. And now, I will say I'm not a fan of, or I don't think social media is cool, but I think reels are, they're the currency of the current comedy landscape. And, I put a lot of my one-man show on there and in little clips, talking about trauma with my father, and, and people get like a little context of it, as long as I get like a little joke in there, like, I think my mom should have swiped left, something like that.
Yeah.
Then you get like the real shares going on there.
When I remember when you started doing that,
Yeah.
and you would clip those out, and at first it wasn't going very well, and you're
Right.
like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
this is gold. And then you started posting with the text, so actually the text would come up
Exactly.
before the punchline would come up,
Right.
and that's when people really started getting it.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is an aspect I do like about social media. How because sometimes I feel like maybe it's because like my humor is just too cerebral. It's too messed up. I'm talking about unalive syndrome or stuff like that. And if people are like they have to read it as well. They read along. It's sort of like it gilds the lily in a sense. So.
Well said.
Yeah. Do you have any reels that have had success or?
No reels that have had success.
Oh,
Have you
okay.
have you ever posted a
I've
Reels?
never posted a reel.
Well, that's
Wow.
your problem. Trust me. I'm looking at you. You post one reel, you're going to be the next Matt Rife. Do you
Yeah.
know who this is?
I do.
So let's
Yeah.
let's get to our video reaction section, and then we'll move on to some of the other popular segments, such as Tony's Rant of the Week, Producer Check-In, and Guy's Corner. So here we go.
Okay.
Let's do first video reaction. This is called Facebook.
Now this
Oh,
put
yeah.
a smile on my face because it really like I'm trying to find social media sketches, and that's kind of tough because I don't really engage with that stuff unless to post my political ramblings.
They're not ramblings. They're really important points.
Yeah, you're right. But this sketch is something I think we can all relate to, and it's the customer support thing with, and I mean, I'm saying too much.
right.
We should just watch this.
All right,
yeah.
so here we go.
Facebook support. Hi, I'm trying to reach customer service about my Facebook account. I think it was hacked.
I'd be happy to assist you. Please DM us on Facebook regarding this issue.
Wait, no, I can't. My account was hacked.
And if you're listening like on Spotify, there's a guy yelling wearing a blue suit.
Hi, yes, I was just hung up on. I can't
And the customer support is being very unhelpful.
reason I'm calling.
Simply take a screenshot of your account being locked.
I just keep,
I don't understand.
Well, that's the point.
Oh.
You just, you can't, this
guess-
guy's trying to post a photo of Leonard Skinner, and, he's just having.
Well, I don't
all the-
understand the.
What year is this from? I love the phones.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So he's calling the company of Facebook,
Yeah.
and I think this is the joke is that you can't call Facebook, right?
I see. Yeah. It's a great observation.
It's a great illustration of the time of.
Well, it
confusion.
said what we were all thinking at a certain time.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of frustration with customer support
Yeah.
with these online companies, and no one really knew how to tackle it head on. And
Yeah.
looks like these guys found.
I mean, I feel like I'm
really-
calling Instagram.
Facebook, yeah.
I call Instagram a lot. I'm like, where are my likes for this rant I have about Elon Musk? Where are the likes?
Yeah.
And I go through this rigmarole constantly. with
I've been
them.
calling on behalf of Matt Rife, just saying get him more popular.
Oh yeah.
He's popular, but it doesn't seem like enough. And so, but again, you just get what we call gray rocked from these people. They ignore you when you call them on the phone. Now, my suggestion that he should have tried to use the platform's report function instead of calling Facebook. But what do I know? All right, so that was one called, what was that called? Facebook customer support. Now, here's one I found. This is a comedy sketch. One of the things I think we all deal with social media, I'm sure maybe you dealt with this when you were meeting these scene girls on MySpace, is that what we see in these pictures on social media isn't always reflecting reality. So I
Ain't that the truth?
Yes, and so Nick, you'll like this because it's about reels. This is called Real versus Reality, and I haven't watched it, but I'm sure it'll sort of explore this topic in a way we all can understand and relate to. Here we go. So the man is in a car,
She's got her Mystic Mocha.
and he's giving a girl a chocolate. Oh,
She gave him the chocolate to give
And then
to
she,
her.
yeah, we're gonna assume that later it's gonna be edited down, and she's gonna receive the gifts.
it's a prank. No, not a prank. What do you call this? This is it's showing that people will fake their own lives to make themselves look better than things really are going.
Wow.
She doesn't have anyone that wants to give her chocolate.
No one loves her,
She's
basically.
in love.
Yeah.
She has a boyfriend that doesn't love her, and now, or that might even be a brother, a
Yes.
family member, and then
Could be just a paid actor.
could be a hired gun.
Yeah. A hitman of sorts.
A hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the sense of making a hit video.
Is this a lucrative career, you think, in your studies of
Being paid to
being paid
perform in
to
videos?
love, to pretend to love?
It could be if what I would suggest is maybe one of the objects is a branded coconut water along with
sure.
the flowers being handed over. Then you have yourself that branded content.
Yeah.
That's
And-
actually you're right. For all we know, this was a paid promotion for this Mystic Mocha chocolate bar. Mm-hmm. So I want to kind of apologize for not disclosing, showing. This might have been branded content. And the other thing I don't understand is that, and here it says that it used a green screen, because when you use these filters or special effects, it tells you what you used. And for the life of me, I can't figure out where the green screen was used in this video. And if you're looking at it online, this is
I think the green screen
Hollywood
is,
level green screen.
I think it's an emotional green screen because she's it's the intent of the gift. It's sort of green screened in there, as we can see behind the proverbial green screen. He's less than thrilled to even be in this situation. So he, in a sense, is like a mocap performer.
I disagree. Let's look at the next one. This is called True About Social Media. And
this is I think this is maybe the funniest thing.
And
I've
again,
ever-
if you're just listening in the last one, a woman got in a car, handed a man a chocolate bar, or she was in the car already, handed him a chocolate bar, got out, got back in, he handed it back to her, but she only recorded the part where he was handing it. It was sort of a meta. It was kind of a meta thing.
that was-
So here, this one's also called True About Social Media, #funny. So let's see what we think about this. So this is a man is
a guy's
doing
trying to make a ring light video, and then the girl comes in and she exposes
and then
some.
the likes are going up.
What this is really saying is that people want to look at a. I gotta stop watching this because it's a little bit. It's inappropriate.
Well, yeah, it's horny.
It's horny, but it
It makes a good point.
it makes a very good point.
Yeah,
It makes a great point. We don't need to go any further into
yeah,
it.
yeah, we
Just
don't.
look this video up if you want to.
Don't
see what
watch
the
it
point
too
is.
much.
But don't. Yeah,
if your wife is home.
I don't want to play it anymore. But it makes a great point. I won't get into the details. Now, this next one is I think something we were talking about earlier. This is called. All right, we're gonna go back to the beginning. Actually, no. All right, if you're watching at home, I'm going to start it at exactly 20 seconds in, so we don't end up watching the same thing again. Let's go. Here we go.
And as a social media
Yeah.
expert, can I just applaud the curation of this? Really gives an overall sense of
yeah.
where social media is with
So let's
videos.
start it at 7 seconds in. Lele Pons Vine compilation, May 2015. And then we're coming up on the 10th anniversary of these vines. But
Are you doing anything for the 10th anniversary
of these vines? Yeah, I'm watching it now on our podcast. And I think
Okay.
the thing about these is they're as true today as they were in May 2015. So here we
Scary.
go. Scary how little has changed despite my best efforts as a sort of thought leader. So here we go. 7 seconds in, Lele Pons Vine compilation. Okay, there's two. She's having a contest with this guy to see who can drink their coffee first. I didn't really get the joke.
And then is it on to the next?
Yes, it's because they're only 6 seconds. Now they're doing a spoof of Grease, but she stepped on his foot, and the director said cut. Now the next one, the guy wants to hang out with his bro, but all right. I'll just describe the last one, then we can move on. The guy wants to hang out with his friend, but the girl keeps interrupting.
Yeah.
And then the song All By Myself plays. And And this is the great thing about this stuff is that the heavy lifting is done by the song.
It's really, and
She's
it's so,
all by herself because those guys want to hang out.
It's so fast moving that, you know, who knows, the laugh will probably come hours from now.
All right, let's move on to a new segment I call Tony's Rant of the Week. And this is not really related to other topics. This is just kind of my chance to just unload a little bit about stuff that's been going on. And,
Okay, but we're kind of running low on time. Just like, how long is this rant going to...
I mean, max 15 minutes, min 14 minutes. So
Okay.
it's going to be somewhere in that window. And trust me, when you hear the topic of this rant, believe me,
Okay.
you're going to want to hear, you're going to be like, can you make this rant twice as long? All right. And today's rant is on coffee. All right. I go into a coffee shop for coffee. I do not want to.
Our producer in the room is signaling something. I think. Oh wait, we're gonna do a producer check-in. So,
Okay, but can I just finish my rant? 'Cause
well, I
got-
think.
got-
Well, it depends. I mean, the producer. You know, that's kind
I have
of.
hold-
I'm kind of curious about the coffee rant myself.
I just
I
had
know,
this whole
but we
thing
gotta.
about-
The producer wants to check in,
But
and
it's like I have this whole thing. I don't want
well, just
cappuccino.
I know,
just want a
but
regular
hey,
coffee.
this is where the bucks come from.
All right.
So, all right, let's check in with our
Check in with the
producer, who's a
producer.
real guy in the room.
As the producer, I'm really pleased with how this episode is shaping up. Matt, Tony, and Nick have great chemistry today. They're balancing humor with real insight into the evolution of social media. The discussion around Lele Pons Vines has been particularly engaging. It sparked some sharp takes and nostalgia. We're hitting that sweet spot between critique and entertainment. At this halfway mark, I think listeners are getting both laughs and substance, which is exactly what we aim for. If the energy keeps up, this might be one of our strongest episodes yet. I'm excited to see where it goes next.
You know what? I was a little annoyed my rant got interrupted, but with insights like that, that's probably more entertaining than anything
I think so.
I was going to say. So, well, we've done video reactions. I think it's time for the most popular part of the podcast. And Matt, you're going to love this. Mm-hmm. Here it comes. It's Guy's Corner.
Well, that's why I'm here.
So,
Wow.
you know, unfortunately, the world of podcasting has become it's just very feminine. I mean, there's almost no podcast where men are allowed to kind of speak their minds. So we've created a sort of space for the boys to kick back, have a couple of high-gravity lagers, and these... Good luck staying seated in your chair after you pound one of these high-gravity lagers, because these things will get you wasted. Have some brewskis, get wasted, and just talk about what life's like being a guy. And
Yeah.
for me, I tell you what I'm dealing with. These coffee shops.
Yeah.
All right? You go into these coffee shops. I literally just need a regular coffee because I was out last night pounding these things with the
Sure,
boys.
yeah. Been there.
I get into the coffee shop, right? I look at this barista. Am I looking at Barnum and Bailey's circus or someone serving me coffee? I mean, we're talking blue hair. We got a nose ring and an earring. All right, and I'm going, where am I supposed to look? The nose ring, the earring, the blue hair. I'm like trying to order
Yeah.
coffee, and I think I'm staring at a freaking kaleidoscope. I'm like,
Yeah.
are these my glasses or a kaleidoscope? And I say, hey, give me a regular coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
The barista, which apparently you have to call someone a barista now. You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
just, I try to...
I heard that's the newest pronoun.
Yeah, you got a barista. I'm like panicking because I'm like, I'm not going to remember the barista's pronouns. Goes, what?
Yeah.
I go, just
Or
give me a regular...
barista is the pronoun.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I go...
Or their pronoun is barista, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically anything goes nowadays. It's the wild west
Right,
out there.
right, yeah.
So I say, just give me a regular guy's coffee. And the barista goes, that'll be $3. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't speak woke. So that's what I'm dealing with
That's
as
good,
a as a guy.
Good comeback.
Man, any kind of stuff.
Yeah, that was a
happening?
very good comeback.
Yeah, anything you're dealing with, sort of in the being a guy, just go ahead and vent. You know what I mean? Just us guys, but don't lean back
Just
too
a
far.
couple of
'cause I think we're
guys.
getting out of the thing.
The frame. But no, I have to. Let me think about it.
All right, well, you think
know,
about it, Nick. Go ahead. Do you have anything you're dealing with being a guy?
You know when like you're hooking up with the woman with henna tattoos, like behind Burger King,
Yeah.
and you're like, hey, this is going pretty good. Why don't you join my polycule? And she says, I don't know, bro. You know what is that? You know?
it's just being a guy is almost impossible.
I
There's
know, it
basically
really
a war
is.
on guys going on. The stuff you're dealing with.
Yeah, it's
my
like I'd
thing
like
with the
to
barista.
make out somewhere that doesn't smell like, you know.
But apparently that's a thought crime in Biden's,
I know,
Biden's
yeah,
America.
it's
Well, Matt, anything you've been sort of... Did you think of any riffs? No. That's all right.
well, that's the part about being a guy. Is sometimes you just want to sit with your thoughts, and you know you don't want to
bro out. I want to watch the game. This is like me with my wife. I want to watch the game. I know my wife comes in going, "You're not going to believe what happened on Sex and the City. Samantha broke up with Angelo," or
Yeah.
I'm going, I don't want to answer any questions.
Right, yeah.
I want to watch the game.
Yeah. So cheers to you, Matt, with the
Here's to you, and thanks for
staying
being a
mum.
guy. Yeah. Staying mum.
Well, that's been our show. Any you know, and I think social media, it's I decided that I'm changing my argument. It's actually the coolest thing ever. So you've convinced me.
Well, let me just look and see how many likes my latest post got. And then I'll decide if
All
it's
right.
good or not. So I made a post. I'm looking at my Instagram at my new post. It's a clip from this podcast. 1,000 likes. Sounds pretty good.
Any tags?
Yeah, I tagged Nick.
Nice.
Was tagged in it. So 1,000 likes. So, not that great though, actually. Relatively speaking, to the amount of followers. So I'm going to say social media is
But hey,
top-
if those likes were candy bars,
I have 1,000 candy bars. But since I didn't get enough likes, I'm going to say social media is a toxic waste of time that divides us as a culture and causes low teenage self-esteem. Matt, what about you? So someone that's seen social media's rise from your glory days on MySpace to your skepticism by not signing up for Snapchat today when it's the most popular thing. People call it Snap now. They don't even call it Snapchat. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's so popular. People are saying it all the time. Snap, snap, snap. What do you think? Do you think, because like you were in it, you're kind of out of it. Do you think after hearing the opinions on this podcast, you're going to get back in hard, or you've been scared off by, intimidated by sort of the talent we just watched?
Well, I'm definitely intimidated by some of the talent I watched. Definitely going to check out Bad Baby's raps.
yeah.
Some of the best raps out there. And I speak
Al
as a
Roker
rap.
said she's the new Eminem.
I call her Feminem.
Whoa.
Kind of a riff I thought of on the spot here. I probably not the first one though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're like Matt Shotgun.
Matt Rife.
Matt Rife,
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. But no, I think I'm going to dive headfirst back in. I think what's nice about social media now is, it used to be a place where, you would pick what you wanted to follow and you'd get to kind of keep up with them. But now it's kind of nice because they don't really even show you those, and they just kind of decide who would be best for you to look at. And so,
It's great.
yeah, it's great.
Well, let's do one last thing. That we should have done earlier because I thought of a funny segment
Okay.
or a good segment. This is called the Discover tab. And this is
great.
something we can react to because, quite honestly, I felt like I've been kind of a little out of it. And so maybe if I get something that really gets me energized by reacting to
Explore page.
page.
Explore page,
It's not
yeah.
called the Discover tab.
Yeah.
And let's look at the top 5 things that come up on the Explore page and react to them. And you know what I'll do? I'll do a screen grab. All right, but let's just reload because it's kind of giving me some sort of, I don't want to show. All right, here we go. Here's what's on. This is the top 5 things that have shown up. I'm going to do a screen grab so we don't lose it on my Discover tab. All right, number 1, podcast about list. Now this is the podcast. Patrick,
Who was on?
who was
there?
on our podcast. This is an ad for his podcast.
A live event.
A live event.
So they're going to take that to the stage.
Yes, and they're using social media to promote their We should do that. But who would come, unfortunately, because you know what I mean?
Only
You guys are
1,000
only
likes.
making $1 a day.
Yeah, we
I
don't have
know.
enough to buy a promoted post with this guest, Brace Belden. So that's number 1. Not that interesting. Now we have one called, this is one of these success infographics. How to never be jobless again. And this says, number 1, master a relevant skill set. Great advice. Why did I think
thought
of
it said
mastering something? Build a portfolio. Make yourself visible to the public. Great advice. If I only had mastered something, I would never be jobless again.
Right.
And now
Well,
here-
you do have a job. We make $1 a day.
Yeah, good point. So I don't need this. This was used
Yeah.
wasted on this company.
I can't wait to see this. Why should wake up at
4:30 a.m.
So now they've gotten another sort of infographic about how to be successful. Why should wake up at 4:30 a.m.? No interruptions, no kids yelling. I don't have any kids yelling. You know why? I lost custody. So not a problem for me. No phone calls, no friends. No problem for me. But
Well, why should wake up?
Well,
Why?
they wrote it at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, I'll say.
why? No, I think maybe they wanted to save
Time.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they're up at 4:30 and they're busy.
I see.
Extra 2 hours per day. Yeah, that's true. But my only question, they didn't pick the best picture because the person that's woken up at awakened at 4:30 doesn't look healthy.
No.
No.
Anyways, extra 728 hours a year.
Maybe that person woke up at 3:30 a.m.
Yeah, that's too
Yeah,
early.
that's-
Waking up early in the morning was one of the secrets to success by most successful people around the world. Less likely to. Anyways, mental edge over other people. I've heard about this edging. This is something people talk about on social
That's
media.
what they mean. That's people that wake up earlier than others
They-
are,
they
are
They
edging.
masturbate till.
No. Oh, that's what that means?
Yeah, it means masturbating
Oh,
till
because I keep posting that I'm doing it, and I thought it was about this.
not to
that's why I'm getting
completion.
mocked. And then, all right, so great one. Then we have I Show Speed reacts to his third grade picture getting leaked.
And
So,
he's smiling at it.
and we
so-
know who I Show Speed is. We know that I Show
Yes.
Speed is an American YouTuber media personality, an online streamer known for the dramatic and energetic behavior showcased in his various live streams.
Right.
And
And in third grade, that wasn't exactly the case.
let's just say his third grade, a little bit of a glow up he's had since
Yeah.
third grade. Most people in third
And
grade
now he
look
doesn't
cool.
have clothes on, which is
Yeah.
yeah.
And this is shocking because most people in third grade look really cool.
Yeah.
And then, but let's just say
It was a little
Things were
embarrassing.
a little
Yeah.
awkward back then.
And this picture got 623,000 likes.
Wow.
And then finally, we have something that I think is going to be a comedy skit. It's called Type B Wife. And I think on Instagram Reels, I get a lot of these comedy skits about wives. And
Yeah.
so I'm going to click on this. I'm going to save it. This is they're at the airport.
Now this looks like my wife,
Yeah. Hey, we're
and not because she's Asian.
Wow, this is good. I like that they're really running us through the gauntlet of different things a type B wife might do.
I get it now. I get this one because the wife doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
She's just zoning out at the airport. Mm-hmm. She doesn't even know they're at the
Okay.
wrong airport. Oh, and this incorporates something called a Vine boom. By the way, this is a comedic technique that was invented in Vine, which is you put in a loud boom sound every time something you consider to be funny happens.
Right.
As
it
a sign
reminds
that something
people
funny.
where to laugh.
Where to
It's
laugh.
kind of like the swish pan.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so if you're just, by the way, if you're listening at home and you can't see it, they're at an airport. There's a woman at an airport, and
She's shy.
it's and the title of it is Type Funny Song Studio. Oh, she's utilized a funny song from the in-app audio library. Do you hear it? Can you hear it in the background?
Yeah.
It goes doop doop doop
Dooby dooby doo.
And so basically the joke is
It's kind of awkward turtle.
It's
code.
awkward turtle, but I'm loving it.
Yeah, so the joke is she is type B. Type B is where you're more chill.
Yeah.
And so she doesn't know when the airplane is
Like
coming
me.
off. Yeah.
Right.
And let's just read a few of the comments and to sort of wrap things up. She came for the holiday, not for the details. And that got 1,800 likes. That's a comment which explains the premise.
She's just kind of eating at the. I don't.
She's eating at the
she's being-
airport.
there's not.
She's type B.
She's type
And it's
B.
funny because
What's another comment? There's a good.
that's a good sign. She completely trusts you because a type B. What this means? Oh no, I lost it. Oh, here it is back. Type B. She doesn't care what's going on. She's type B.
Sure.
Then we go, a real type A wouldn't be asking all these questions.
This was my mom for 51 years until my dad
Oh,
passed
God.
away.
It's a very depressing and
Wow.
long comment. This was my. Well, go ahead, Nick. You can read it, and this will wrap things up.
Now,
And
at
sort
the
of
this was my mom for 51 years until my dad passed away a couple of years ago. Now, at the age of 81, she has had to learn how to pay all the bills and get herself around. She couldn't even figure out how many bank accounts she had, so my sisters and I spent a whole weekend leafing through every document my dad left behind to track them down. We identified 5. We believe that is all. So I guess the lesson here is don't be B.
I think the lesson is let's stop trying to be funny and just try to think of things that's happened to people before. Because
Yeah.
in the end of the day, that will encourage them to leave comments. Because if someone just thinks something's funny, they might just give you a laugh emoji. But if you deal with something real, like a type B wife, you'll get more engagement. So that's the lesson learned. All right. Well, what a great podcast.
Yeah, that was great.
And sit
Wow,
by.
I'm just happy to.
And guess how long this was the longest one we've ever done.
Well, hopefully that'll be edited down.
Well,
or-
I kept dragging it out because I was hoping something sort of more amusing would happen, and in fact, it did.
We
And
had
it did with that
a
type
real
B wife,
discussion
type B
of the
wife.
minds. Yeah.
with type B wife. And so, Matt, thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
Wow. Well,
Here we go. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
All right.